Content disclaimer. The views, comments, and opinions expressed by guest speakers or authors on this YouTube channel do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by this channel's broadcasters and its sponsors. Parental guidance is advised. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teachers, scholarship, education, and research. For fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringed. Rock and groove with me. Get on up, it's dancing time. Rock and groove with me. Get on up, I'm feeling fine. Rock and groove with me. Get on up, it's dancing time. Rock and groove with me. Get on up, I'm feeling fine. Rock and groove with me. Get on up, it's dancing time. Rock and groove with me. Get on up, I'm feeling fine. Very interestingly good book. I wanted to make a quick review. I'm still in the middle of it, but it's a very good book thus far by Don Miguel Ruiz, called The Mastery of Love. And of course, if you've read the 4 Agreements, which Dr. B. Sirius recommended a few months, I read that book also. But this is a very interesting book, man. And you know, this is one of my bedtime stories. This book is one of my bedtime stories. So the mastery of love, you know, he was saying something that was very, very interesting. He said, relationship is an art. The dream that two create is more difficult to master than one. To keep the two of you happy, you have to keep your half perfect. To keep the two of you happy, you have to keep your half perfect. You are responsible for your half, and your half has a certain amount of garbage. Your garbage is your garbage. The one who has to deal with that garbage is you, not your partner. Let me read that for the people in the back of the universe. He says, you are responsible for your half, and your half has a certain amount of garbage. Your garbage is your garbage, and that one who has to deal with that garbage is you. The one who has to deal with that garbage is you, not your partner. If your partner tries to clean your garbage, she is going to end up with a broken nose. We have to learn not to put our nose where no one wants it. And it's the same with your partner's half. Your partner has a certain amount of garbage, and knowing your partner has garbage, you allow her or him to deal with their own garbage. You are going to love her and accept her with all of her garbage. and you are going to respect her garbage. You are not in the relationship to clean your partner's garbage. She is going to clean her own. Very interesting concept and perspective. If you don't, let me turn the camera around so you can see the book clearly. If you don't have the book, very good book to have. Very practical, like you said, a practical guide to the art of relationship. Practical guide to the art of relationship. The Mastery of Love by Don Miguel Ruiz, the author of the Four Agreements. The author of the Four Agreements. So yes. I found that very interesting, And this is interesting. This other part that he says in this book is very interesting. Even if your partner asks for help, you have the choice to say no. Let me say that again. Even if your partner asks for help, you have the choice to say no. Saying no doesn't mean you don't love or respect your partner or doesn't mean that you love or accept your partner. So let me repeat that. He says, saying no doesn't mean that doesn't mean you don't love or accept your partner. Saying no doesn't mean you don't love and accept your partner. It means you are not able or you don't want to play that game. For example, if your partner gets angry, you can say, you have the right to be mad or angry, but I don't have to be mad because you are mad. I didn't do anything to cause your anger. You don't have to accept your partner's anger at all, but you can't allow her or him to be angry. There is no need to argue. Just allow her or him to be what she or he is. Allow him or her to heal without intervening. And you can also agree not to interfere with your own healing process. Very interesting what he says, So very good book thus far. I've been reading it. It's my bedtime story. I read probably a segment or a chapter a day, just to go to bed with certain information in my head. Sometimes I get it from different books I'm reading. I'm reading like 3 books, but I'm reading my own book, Numerovation for Mental Stability, because I want to be able to prepare myself for the cadence of the audio book that I'm going to do. Like I said, I'm going to put out a raw, uncut audio book that's going to be free on YouTube through my Linktree. And also, I am reading Nuri Muhammad's book, The Mathematics of the Mind. Very good book also. I'm in between 3 books, my book, this book, and Nuri Muhammad's book, The Mathematics of the Mind. Very good book. Nuri Muhammad is an excellent writer from his perspective. And of course, he's inundating it with the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad's teachings, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's teachings, and life's lessons from out of different scriptures and different experiences. So it's good to read, book. A lot of us, since we left high school or college, haven't read really a book in its entirety in a while. But it's good. I learned through Les Brown and various other people to at least read a book a month, or 2 books a month, or 3 books a month, or try to get those 12 or a certain amount of books, within a year. I'm not trying to read 3,000 books within a year like Cat Williams did. So, but I respect what he's saying. I was on a podcast, listening to a podcast, and they say 3,000 books. I say, yeah, it could be 3,000 Dr. Seuss books, whatever. It could be 3,000 small books. It could be 3,000 whatever. He could have read it. I'm not going to doubt the brother because he is born under the master frequency, being that he's born on September the 2nd. He is born under that master frequency when you add the 9 plus the 2, and that 9 plus the 2 equals 11. So I don't doubt, especially in his early part of his years, I don't doubt that he read a lot of books. I don't know if it's 3,000 because, we could throw numbers out there real quickly in regards to stats and all that, and the amount of this and the amount of that. But I know he's a very smart articulate brother, and it definitely tells me that he was introduced to things early. But here, very good book, The Mastery of Love. My next book on my agenda to read, I'm going to read. I'm definitely going to read Wesley Muhammad's book, Chariots of the Black Gods. Chariots of the Black God, the UFO reality and the alien hoax. I got this book in the mail the other day. I got on the side of it, study, because I know. And so I'm going to probably not read it straight through. I'm probably going to read and study and check out where he's coming from and his bibliography in the back and the information. And obviously he has bibliography and things to back up what he's saying. So big up to Wesley Muhammad. And also I found another very interesting book that in my archives that I've decided to tap into a little bit more from Mr. Melchizedek. Here's a nice book here. This one here. It's two of them. He has 2 volumes actually. This one here, this is a good book here. So family, if you're a reader, I'm throwing out some books out here. This one is called The Ancient Secrets of the Flower of Life, Volume 1 and Volume 2. The Ancient Secret of the Flower of Life, Volume 1 and Volume 2. So these are some books I wanted to throw out there for your spiritual growth and spiritual development, and also your esoteric growth, development, and also he got some interesting stuff in here too. He got some interesting mathematics in here, studies of numbers inside here, going back to Kemet and going back to a lot of the indigenous, where the flower of life is being found all over the world. So the Flower of Life Volume 1 and the Flower of Life Volume 2. Yes, I do have them. Good books is hard to find. And I want to wish a happy birthday to Dr. Baruti. Dr. Baruti, today is his birthday. Dr. Baruti's birthday is today. If you don't know who Dr. Baruti is the author of many books. He has Common Sense Security, Centered, The Sex Imperative, Message to the Warrior, Menticide, Clarity, and of course, Homosexuality and the Effeminization of African Men or African Males. That's a good book to have, especially if you want to find out all of what's going on in this world. So today is March the 6th. Happy birthday to Dr. Mwalimu Baruti. Dr. Mwalimu Baruti. And today is also D.L. Hughley's birthday too. Today is also D.L. Hughley. And it's very interesting about what's happening with DL as far as, getting into certain things with certain people and all that. But anytime I see someone born on the number 6 of any month, whether you're born on the 6th, whether you're born the 15th or the 24th, remember those are different degrees of the number 6. 6 is different than the 15. 15 is different than the 24. 24 is different than the 6. All of it, but because and you know why? Because when you get 15, you also get the 1 and the 5, and then you also get the compound meaning. There's a compound, esoteric, ancient meaning to the 15, and there's a compound, esoteric meaning to the number 24. Although they break down to the number 6 at the end of the day, even 33. If you have 33 in your numerical scope, then I would look for that and I will point that out when I do a session with people. I try very hard to point out that stuff. It's very important. I got to point out those master numbers that reveal itself inside of your name. It's just like the person that just joined True Trillionaire. I look for those double L's in your name if you have those names. And when you have the double L in any name, whether it's million, whether it's trillion, whether it's billion, those double L is telling me that the significance of that particular word is the law of attraction through bringing about balance, jovial attitude, and creativity. So when you hear the word trillion, billion, million with double L's in them, that's about the only way that they can at least allow themselves to become a trillionaire or a billionaire or a millionaire. You have to use your imagination. But that's why most million and billionaires, think about this, set up foundation to help people around the world, whether they're setting up libraries or schools, because they have to, and because there's a duality with those double L's, because remember, anything with double letters together has a intensity going on both directions, going both positive and negative. So when I hear words like trillionaire because of the double L's, or millionaire because of the double L's, or billionaires because of the double L's, or billions, it's those are law of attraction energy in the double L perspective, in a name or in a word. I've taught it before on my board, and it can affect you both emotionally, spiritually, and physically. And you could be a spiritual billionaire and not even a physical one. You could be a spiritual trillionaire. I believe I'm a spiritual trillionaire. Well, no, I don't believe. I know I'm a spiritual trillionaire. Does the money come slowly? Does the finance come slowly? Yes, it has. Because I know over $1 million have passed through my hands within my lifetime. I know that for a fact. I know that. But again, it's how you take those potential millions, trillions, and billions and how you invest them so you can hold on to those millions and trillions and billions along your lifetime. Or if you're putting it in a trust or learning how to put things in a trust and all that kind of stuff. This is things that I learned late. My son, one of my sons, two of my sons have been studying it, but they, since they was young. But this is the thing. So understand why I'm not one of those people that talk about lottery and winning lottery. From my perspective, is because lottery is when you put something in to expect more out of it. So when you put that 50 cents and you win the lottery, then you get more from that 50 cents or that dollar. But lottery winnings could be your investment in the stocks. It could be your investments in crypto or Bitcoin. It could be in your investments in real estate, and you got more out of that. So that's a form of lottery to me, from my perspective. So when people want to talk about they want to win lottery, look at the double T's in it. Look at the double T in the word lottery. Lottery is a double T, and in the Pythagorean system, the double T's is 22, the master builder. So even if you're playing lottery, or you recognize that your lottery is coming throughout your life, through your real estate and through what you're building, the 22 that's in the word lottery, because of the double T in the Pythagorean system, is telling you that you have to be a master builder, a master architect, if you plan to hold on to the lottery that you've won. And then the double T in the Chaldean system is 44. That means it's a universal desire that you have, but you have to be dedicated to wanting to build your lots that you're receiving over the years. It's because that 44 is a builder's number, but it's the dedicated building number. It's also trusting in the universe number. It's also a mental number. So everything that you do when you get lottery or deal with the lotto, you have to be mentally aware, mentally alert on how you handle what you win or what you're putting into, whether stocks, bonds, and anything, and then be able to hold on to it, because that also becomes a form of attracting if you're willing to build. You got to be willing to build. So playing lotto is cute, but if you're playing lotto without proper intentions, like the late great Ken Dickerson did, or Gail Howard did back in the day, they're not, both of them are not here. But Gail Howard won lottery 72 times or more, according to her book, according to her studies, and also according to Ken Dickerson. Ken Dickerson won lottery numerous times, and He even won the lottery 19 times in 1 month. Let me say that again. Ken Dickerson, and I have his book somewhere up there. It's up there. And it's called How to Win Games of Chance. How to Win Games of Chance. How to Win Games of Chance. That's the name of his book. But in his book, he tells you the variables of how he won lotto, and he shows you the receipts, and he tells you what he was going through at that particular time and what cycle he was in numerically, what cycle he was in astrologically, what dreams he paid attention to, what little paper he might have seen on the floor that wasn't coincidence. That's why he picked it up. He paid attention to the signs. He paid attention to the biorhythms. He paid attention to all of that when it came to winning what we call lottery. So it's a good book to get. It's called How to Win Games of Chance. Very good book if you're into lottery. And if you want to understand the biorhythms and the astrological and the numerical patterns that he used. And even C. Freeman L. used to teach on the numbers and how to handle the numbers from his perspective. Again, it's a perspective. And I always say, if that perspective worked for you, go ahead and do it. So C. Freeman L., from his perspective, how he was winning lottery a lot, that is a methodology that he put out there online. So if you go on YouTube and Google C. Freeman L. or look up C. Freeman L., then you find that C. Freeman L. and numerology or lottery, look up those two videos, and you'll see his patterns and what he noticed in the patterns of playing lottery. With Ken Dickerson now, he will bet small amounts, especially in New York, because if you win a big amount in New York, they want you on television. They want you to do all this kind of stuff. They want you to do the buck dancing and on TV and smiling because I won lottery and all that bull crap. Ken Dickerson wasn't into that. He was a Cancer. He was born July the 6th. So I see where he would like to be more to himself, because that Cancer, that number 7 that's in his chart, 7, that July energy like to be in their own head, into their own space. And because that 7 plus that 6 equals that 13, which is that 4, again, that 4 energy, which is an alignment number, he like to be in his own space also. So pay attention to when you use or deal with lottery. And remember, every way that you earn money or gain money from putting in little work or putting in a little bit of money, that is a form of lots and winning lottery. It just depends on how you handle what you win, because of those double T's in lottery. It represents the Master 22 and the Master 44 in two different perspectives. You understand? Yeah, seven life paths like to stay in their own space. That's true. 7 life paths does, and Cancers, yeah, they do like to stay in the whole. Very, very loving sign. So it's very important that we recognize patterns, cycles, and sequences of numbers. Thank y'all very much for commenting. Commenting. So when you do a session with me, unlike other people, I look for your master numbers, whether it's in your name, your birthday, or whatever. I look for your angels and your angle numbers, because if my spirit says to look for those angel or angle numbers that keep on popping up numerous times, I'm going to tell you about it. I'm going to tell you because I'm seeing it. So if I'm seeing 5, 10 times in your name, or I've seen 5, 20 times in somebody's name, and I had to tell them what's significant of that. And because I'm using two systems and I'm reading the numbers in both systems, that's why you get the amount of numbers that I see, because I'm reading the numbers and breaking down the numbers in the Chaldean and the Pythagorean. So if I'm seeing a certain amount of 5s in the Pythagorean and a certain amount of 5 in the Chaldean, where most numerologists just look at the Pythagorean system, but I use all of them so I can recognize all of the amount of numbers that are coming to you, and then I will put that in the quote unquote magical square that most people might call it in the numerology world. So think about the words that we use. That's why I've been very adamant about breaking down words and not just a birthday. because the words we use can also stimulate what we need to do, especially if you're using it constantly. And most words, like I said earlier, with the name billion, the word billion, the word dollar, the word trillion, the word million, those double L's have a significant meaning in every word, sound, vibration. It is a word, sound, vibration. This is a word that I'm saying. It's a sound that I'm putting out there, and it's a vibration that is coming through to the people. That's why we're picking it up in our ears, and then we're translating it into our mind. You know what I'm saying? So you got it's a whole scientific thing about that behind that. I know Dr. Africa has broken it down. I know KT has broken it down. So it's very important. Words are just as important as numbers. Yes, because they're connected to each other, especially in multiple systems. You can even go into the EFA, the icon. You could go into any system and bring out the number. I have books on the EFA and the icon connected to numbers. Did I put it up here? It must be in my archive. Yeah, must be in my archive. I have numbers connected to Kemet and Egypt. Let me see. I know I have that book somewhere up here. Wait a minute. Okay, here's one. Here's one. I want to show this book. Look at this book here. Deity Linkage Manual and Numerology. This book is by S. Ali Myers. Deity Linkage Manual, How to Find Your God and Goddess Using Numerology. How to Find Your God and Goddesses Using Numerology. Good book to have. It's a very small book. It's not that big. You know, Lakshmi. Look, he's talking about Lakshmi, Pravarti, Vishnu, and they got the numbers connected to that. Very easy read. It's not a hard read at all. You know, from his perspective. Deity linkage. So he has Lakshmi and he has all kinds of gods and goddesses in this book. So if you can get this book, S. Ali Myers, go get the book. You know, I'm not afraid to tell people what they can read and what they should study and be willing to study. It's always good to get a lot. That's what makes me the numerovator, because remember, I'm using numbers and also motivation. But I'm using the motivation from all the things that I've learned over my life and that I continue to learn. I add it and show you how the numbers can also assist and guide. That's why I call my particular system numerovation. Using the numbers to motivate. Using numbers in any aspect to motivate people. I can break down his words in his book, his name in his book. Of every letter has a number connected to it in multiple systems. So yes. Remember, mathematics is Islam, and Islam is mathematics. Mathematics is life, and life is mathematics. And it stands true and can be proven at any given time when you use the math. And remember, I always say math is not the is all or be all. It's a confirmation for most of you. It's here to confirm. Just like your GPS, most of you know your way home when you're coming from a supermarket, but you turn on the GPS for confirmation. And sometimes we turn on the GPS just to alert us. Of any obstructions that might be in the way, especially if you have a good GPS like Wave or another one other than Google. Google might not alert you at all, but Wave will tell you if you got a raccoon in the damn street. That's how crazy that Wave is. But it definitely tells you and alerts you on police activities and on that set. Say that again, life is Islam. Yeah, that's an old saying by the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. He said, Islam is mathematics, mathematics is Islam, Islam is mathematics. But since Islam is a way of life, mathematics is life. And life is mathematics, and it all stands true. It can be proven at any given point or time. I mean, I'm butchering up that whole saying. I do have it around me. But I'm going to write it on the board one day. I'm going to write it on the board and just leave it right there in the corner because it helps to remind me that everything we do has a mathematical or numerical component to it. And when Lloyd Strayhorn said on Brother Richard's show that there's nothing you can't do without mathematics or numbers, it's absolutely a fact or true if you're going into a understanding of the patterns and cycles and sequences that we pay attention to, even if we don't have clocks. We still pay attention to the patterns, cycles, and sequences of nature every day, without fail, every day. And then even if you're looking at your hands, you see there is 5 components on your hand here. And you know that you're looking at your teeth, you see that they might be 32 teeth and you might have 50, 2 nostrils. So we still are acknowledging these factors of counting and recognizing patterns and cycles and sequences, and also being able to count or be alert. Even animals may not count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 per se, but animals recognize a count and instinctively recognize if one of their cubs are missing. If they have a whole litter, they instinctively know that this amount ain't right. Where's the other one? This amount ain't right. Where's the 2 others? This amount ain't right. They instinctively know. You know what I'm saying? Yes, no religion tells us who the creative force is. It's just the word God and all these things are just words that we use. And each word has a mathematical frequency. Because if I wrote the word God on my board and then put dog under it, you can't say it's not the same word. But if we look at it, we say that, if man is God, man can also become dog. So at man and woman's highest level, they are gods. But when they go to their lowest level, they become dogs. That's why we like to call each other dogs and sometimes biatches. There it is. Call your brother, your man, he's your dog. That's my dog, son. And then sisters be calling each other, what's up, man? How you doing, man? They saying all of that. Whoop, whoop, wop, wop. Whatever they doing, they calling each other. When back in the day, it was the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, Malcolm X, and all of those great men and women of that time that popularized us calling ourselves gods instead of calling ourselves dogs. And of course, Clarence 13X, Father Allah from the 5% Nation, those was the epitome of calling the black man and woman gods and not dogs. And when you can look at a black man or a woman as a god or a goddess, but all of us, both of us together are the Godhead together. If you can look at a brother and a sister as a god, you won't try to disrespect the God. But if you look at each other as dogs or biatches, then you will disrespect the dog and the biatches and treat the dog and the biatches a certain way because of that lower frequency. Because when you look at your dog, if you have a real dog, you're looking low, you're looking down at it. If you're looking at that female dog, you're looking down at it. But interesting enough, in his book, The Master of Love, he talks about the dog and the human relationship, that if you got a dog, you could treat a dog any old way, but they'll still come back and wag their tail and still show you love. So in another aspect from the animal kingdom, a domesticated dog is a very interesting animal for one to show love and concern to, because that dog will naturally show. If you're feeding it and enjoying it and showing it love, it will naturally just always come and run up on you every time, no matter what day you're having, what kind of bad day you had at work, that dog will always come and show you love. And if you don't want to show it love, it'll come running back to you and it'll walk away. It'll naturally, instinctively say, okay, she or he's not ready for me right now. I'll wait. And it'll go and come back. He spoke about it in his book. He spoke about this in this book, The Mastery of Love. So I found it very interesting because I've been around family members and friends that had dogs, and the dog was so powerful. The dog brings love and energy to any room, especially the one in Florida when I go and visit Dr. McCabe. Dr. McCabe has a dog named Chewy. And Chewy is such a loving dog. He hasn't seen me for months. But once she says, "You see Simon? Is this Simon?" If she puts on that attitude, Chewy's like this. Even though he'll see you, he jump all over you. He runs and scurry and come. And every time he sees me, and every time you come into the house, he's scurrying and running, and he's all over the place. It's like, my goodness, this dog here never stops being a loving energy. Cats, on the other hand, and I love cats a little bit more than dogs. Cats, on the other hand, is like, well, you came. Are you coming to feed me? And they look at you like, are you coming to feed me? Are you here to give me some kitty food? What's wrong with you? Now, why are you here? He'll come around, purr around you. But cats will use you. That's what cats will do, because they'll lie around your house and on the couch, and like, as soon as you walk in, they'll put their head up and look at you like this and lie right back down and say, the peasant is here to feed me and bathe me today. That's a cat. Dogs are different, but a cat is just like, oh, whatever. I got this. I'm just here to be a furry, look good. So big up to cats. That's why I like cats, because they're so independent to me. And I'm that Aquarian energy. I like that rebel. Yeah, be a rebel, cat. I'm going to feed you any goddamn way, because you're making me feel good just by your purr and your this. And if a cat purrs, I understand that cat purrs can be very healing to certain parts of the body too, according to certain esoteric studies. That's what I heard. So if you're feeling sick, let's say you might have a lung or a heart issue, something going on. If your cat comes and crawl on you and start purring, they're sending a healing vibration to you, because they'll purr in a certain way. They just won't go meow and all that. They'll start. So they're trying to send healing vibrations to you. That's what I understand from another esoteric learning that I heard years ago. I can't even remember where I heard it and where I studied it years ago, but it made a lot of sense, especially if you are connected to your cat. Because cats are very old soul energies. That's why a lot of people used to acknowledge the cats in certain parts of Africa and all that kind of stuff. So having a cat or dog, depending on what you're doing with it and what it's there for, can be a very happy experience for most people. So big up to those people that may have had cats or dogs. Me, I prefer not to have any cats or dogs in the house, because I'm shedding just like everything else is shedding. I don't need to have cat and dog shed all over my food and all that. And I respect, like I said, I go into people's houses and I know, believe me, I know fur and all that kind of stuff, and their shedding is all over the place too. It's all over, because it's all in the mist. If you analyze the air that we're breathing and the stuff that we have and that we have in our houses, they're shedding. The dust is accumulating on it, all of that. So if you study, you'll find a whole lot of different particles and animals in it, a whole lot of things. So, hey, I'm just respectful to energy, and I understand the energy. And once again, family, before I close out, this book right here, let me show you. I showed this book, The Mastery of Love by Don Miguel Ruiz. The Mastery of Love, a practical guide to the art of relationship. Very good book so far. Very good book. I'm enjoying it. And also this book, those who want to study numerology from another perspective. This is by S. Ali Myers, Deity Linkage Manual, How to Find Your Gods and Goddesses Using Numerology. Another good book. You can take a picture of that. And of course, family, as I promote this book, it would be crazy not to promote my own books. It would be crazy not to promote my own book. Of course, numbers are simple, people are complicated. Numbers are simple, people are complicated is my book right here. Numbers are simple, people are complicated. Very good book to have. That's my first book that I ever wrote, numerology. That's the first book. And of course, y'all hear me talk about this book all the time, Numerovation for Mental Stability. That's Numerovation for Mental Stability. And one more book. And one more book. This one here is called Numbers Are Simple, Children's Health is Important. Numbers are simple, children's health is important. A basic health guide for children and adults. How to use the Earth Day or birthday to help the family. Those are my two grandchildren. When they was younger, they grown now. They're like 12 and 10 now. They grown. So those are my first two grandchildren ever. So numbers are simple. Children's health is important. All right. Try to get those books on Amazon if you can. All of those books are available on Amazon. Man. Oh, thanks. I hope you do support. I hope you book a session with me too, because anything, y'all got to remember, any name that y'all chose, that you constantly use, whether it's on Instagram, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's just your personal name, all of them have a significant mathematical meaning. And some of them, the names that you choose can offset your personal numbers, like connected to your birthday and your name, your birth name. So you got to be very careful of the names we choose, the words we choose connected, the vibrations that we choose connected. Word, sound, vibration. That's what it is. Word, sound, vibration. And that's what the numbers are also here to interpret and break down or guide you. Remember, numbers are not here to control. They're here to guide, just like a GPS. From what I've discovered over the years, numbers don't give a damn about you. Numbers are just symbols that if you're willing to delve deep and go up the wormhole and go down the rabbit hole, then you'll find that numbers has been a very significant part of all of our lives for millions of years. Just acknowledging patterns, cycles, and sequences, understanding the counting system, and the need to be aware of your environment when things are happening. And usually it goes through the mathematical uses of meteorology. Meteorology is the study of weather patterns. That's a study. That is a study. And they're using mathematical tools and apparatuses to get to that point, to find out when this is going to arrive here, when this storm is coming there, when this is coming there, when that is when the hurricane is coming, what's the possible earthquake that might eat. They're studying these things. Every one of them have a study. Every one of them have a study. All right. So on that note, family, thank you very much. More than likely, I'm going to upload this to my YouTube page right now. And remember, tonight, myself and Carrie Ann Ingram will be on tonight, and we're gonna do some live on air breakdown of numbers, and she's gonna use the tarot. She's a very patient person, so be patient with her as she's breaking down and dropping your cards. So more than likely, we're gonna do that tonight. Donation driven, so you gotta donate via Cash App or PayPal. That's what we're gonna do. Cash App or PayPal. Or we might stay strictly PayPal, because I want to be able to send her half of whatever we do tonight on YouTube at King Simon Presents, Only Quality People. And more than likely, we'll be broadcasting on IG and on Facebook. So tonight at 8 o'clock, today is Wednesday, myself and Carrie Ann Ingram will be on tonight, having a good old time, sharing our perspective of how to guide and heal people emotionally, spiritually, and physically. And remember, it's not an easy job. It's not an easy job. Really, it's not an easy job to heal emotionally, spiritually, and physically. And sometimes it takes these different modalities to at least give you hope, at least give you shining light and some type of guidance to make you alert and make you aware of what you're doing or what you need to do, using numbers, using tarot, using cardology, using cosmophysics, using astrology, using astronumerology. All of it works if you're willing to work it. All right. Have a great day, afternoon, or evening. Be safe, be great, be focused. And I hope to see all of you on my YouTube channel or on my IG tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This has been your brother, King Simon, the Numerovator, founder of Numerovation. Take care. Peace. Content disclaimer. The views, comments, and opinions expressed by guest speakers or authors on this YouTube channel do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by this channel's broadcasters and its sponsors. Parental guidance is advised. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teachers, scholarship, education, and research. For fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringed.
King Simon, I love him. He's family, and he has one of the top shows on the Forbidden Knowledge TV network, actually.
Right.
So make sure you guys check that out if you haven't.
Yeah, this show is called, it was really based on numerovation. It's a numerology show, and it's called How to Calculate Your Destiny.
Yes.
By King Simon. He's the host of the show. The show has done so well, we're now getting ready to start working on filming season 2. All right, so King Simon, one of the top shows on Forbidden Knowledge TV, streaming TV platform.
Judaism, Christianity, and Islam are mere fragments from the periphery of the African cultural and spiritual system. And so I'm still making that statement that Judaism, Christianity, and Islam are fragments from the periphery of the African spiritual and cultural system.
The legend Professor James Smalls with special guests Destiny Pendarvis and Tassili Ma'at. Get your tickets at Linktree/King Simon the Numerovator. Get them now.
Eye to eye, heart to heart, each one teach one us. This is Professor Imhotep, the Island Monk, here at Warrior Kido Jiu-Jitsu, Way of the Warrior Spirit. So we're here to go over the rules and try to make that as swift as possible for you guys. So the rules essentially are very few. Number 1 is to follow us on TikTok at the Island Monk, or if you have Instagram, you can follow us at Warrior Temple Island University, or if you really love us and want to show us support, you can follow us at both. You're going to find the Kata Shodachi, and you're either going to duet us on TikTok or collab with us on Instagram and win 10 tickets for every additional video you do beyond that. So as we say with all the warriors, eye to eye, heart to heart, each one teach one, us.
Hey, this is King Simon, the International Numerovator. Remember, get all my books on Amazon or go to Linktree/King Simon the Numerovator. And remember, don't forget to book my sessions at 347-496-1022. Book now. So remember, our job as studiers of these metaphysical, esoteric knowledge is to help enhance people to be better. I, as a numerovator, using the numbers, or quote-unquote numerals, and motivation to get people to understand why they need to activate their numbers to be their very best self and maximize it. Because the numerals hold a frequency. And if you're willing to turn up that frequency, then that frequency can help to guide you and navigate you to a higher heights that will allow you to spiral to be your best self. We must remember that.